Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Hope you all are doing well. Students, we are going to start our chapter number 5, linear equations and simple inequalities today. Students, this chapter, as you all know, belongs to your algebra. So, first we need to revise a few things that we have learned in your chapter number 5. In algebra, the most basic things we always use are known as variables, constants, algebraic terms. What are the variables? In algebra, we always use letters like A, B, C, X, Y, Z to represent different numbers. These letters are known as variables. Constants, your numbers like 7, 13, all these numbers that can never change their values are fixed. These numbers are known as constants. In chapter number 4, we have learnt about algebraic expressions, their simplification, their addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. In this chapter, we will learn about equations. Students, as you all know, an expression that consists of operation symbols, brackets, is known as algebraic expression. The difference between an algebraic expression and an equation is, in algebraic expression, we have no equal sign, but in an equation, we always use an equal sign. So first, let's start with the definition of an equation. An equation is a mathematical sentence. An equation is a mathematical sentence that uses the equal sign. To show that two expressions are equal. Right? In an equation, what we use? We always use an equal sign to show that both sides of an equation are equal. Right? To show that the expressions on both sides of an equation are equal. Right? So what's the difference between an equation and an algebraic expression? In an expression, we have no equal sign. But in an equation, we will always have an equal sign, whether it is an algebraic equation or any other equation. Right? Equation basically means equality. So we always use an equal sign to show that two expressions are equal. Right? What's the definition of an equation? An equation is a mathematical sentence that uses the equal sign to show that two expressions are equal. Understood? Okay. Now at your study level, you will learn about linear equations first and then simple inequalities. Linear, as you have learned in your previous lesson, chapter number 4, linear expression is an expression in which index or power of the variable is 1. Similarly, a linear equation is an equation in which index of the variable is 1. And index of the variable is 1. So this equation is known as linear equation, right? For example, x plus 7 is equal to 13, right? In this, variable is x, constants are 7 and 13, and you can see there is no power or index on variable x. When there is no index or power, that means it's 1, right? So an equation in which the index of the variable is 1, This equation is known as a linear equation, right? So the next thing we are going to learn about is types of linear equations. Students, we have 4 different types of linear equations. Number 1 is of the form x plus b is equal to d. In this equation, x would be the variable, b and d are the constants, right? B and D are the constants. This is basically the form of an equation. Your first form of the equation would be like this. That means there would be a variable and 2 constants, right? For example, x plus 7 is equal to 13. This is the equation of first form, right? And you can see there is no index on variable x. That means this is a linear equation. Second type of linear equation is ax plus b is equal to d. Here a, b and d are the constants. And you all know when there is a constant written before a variable, this constant is known as an equation. It's known as a coefficient. It's known as a coefficient. The constant number written before your variable is called the coefficient of the variable. So second form of the equation would be like this. You will have 2 constant numbers, right? And you will have a coefficient of the variable, right? So what's the difference between first and second type? In first type you have no coefficient. When there is no coefficient written before your variable, that means it's 1. And in second type of equation you will have any specific coefficient before the variable, right? This is the difference. The next third form of an equation, linear equation, is ax plus b is equal to cx plus d. Here you can see we have 1 and 2 variable terms, 1 and 2 constant terms. Here a, b, c and d are the constants. A, b, c and d are the constants. So the difference between first and second, in first we have only one coefficient with the variable. In second you will have any other coefficient except 1. And in third type of equation we will have 4 terms. In first and second type of equation we always have 3 terms. In third type of equation we will have 4 terms in this equation. 2 variable terms and 2 constant terms, right? The last and the fourth type of a linear equation is, in this you can see we have used the bracket here. A into bx plus c, it would be equal to dx plus e. Again we have 2 variable terms in this and 1 and 2 constant terms. The difference between third and fourth type of linear equation is, in this you have no multiple outside of the no multiple here, but in fourth type you will have a multiple outside of the bracket. So first when you will have to solve this equation, you have to remove the bracket first, like we were doing in our chapter number 4, right? So what we have learned today, first thing we have revised that what are the variables. In algebra, letters used to represent different numbers. These letters are known as variables. Constants are the numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 or 13. These numbers are known as the constants because their values are fixed. They can never change their values, right? Algebraic expression and equation. There is a difference between an algebraic expression and an algebraic equation. Basically we have terms in algebraic expressions and in algebraic equations. But the difference is, in algebraic expression we will have only operation symbols. Operation symbols means addition, subtraction, multiplication or division. But in an algebraic expression we have no equal sign. We have no equal sign. For example, 2x plus 3. Here we have operation symbol, right? Here we have an algebraic term. Here we have a constant. But we have no equal sign. So this is an algebraic expression, right? And x plus 7 is equal to 13. In this you can see we have algebraic term, we have constants, but we have an equal sign too. So this is an algebraic equation, right? So the difference between algebraic expression and an algebraic equation is, in algebraic expression we have no equal sign. We can only have algebraic operation symbols or brackets involved. But in an equation we can have operation symbols, brackets along with an equal sign, right? Let's quickly revise the definition of equation. An equation is a mathematical sentence that uses the equal sign, to show that two expressions are equal, right? In an equation what we use? We always use an equal sign to show that two expressions are equal. The next thing we are going to revise is linear equations. Linear equations are the equations in which index of the variable is always 1. An equation in which index of the variable is always 1, this is called a linear equation. Index means power of the variable. For example, x plus 7 is equal to 13 is a linear equation. So how many types of linear equations we have? We have 1, 2, 3 and 4 types of linear equations. Understood? Hope you have understood the concept of equation and linear equation, and you have understood the difference between an equation and an expression, right? In the next videos, inshallah, we will learn solving linear equations one by one. We will start with the first type of equation first, then we will move on, right? So watch the video carefully. Try to understand the concept of equation and linear equations so you can solve your sums easily, right? After watching the video, your assignment is you need to learn and write the definitions of equation and linear equations. Thank you. Take care. Allah Hafiz.